mahari real ari isui TSNLD na host kasa webinar hi na thum psychology kita tahu platform hi azak thei latwi da samang shi chuwang rally ni shi kita tahu platform wang psychology ring kapha kala ning shi nang so da na thum na apam khlei kala apam ting de le sai shi le thum nei li rang room laga razang mi khai chuwang kala isim tangku Ngarumsaklong dalili gagdom sa laga na thum na atam ka sa kya khalai sai chila hili zak mai ra ke thei wang kala na thum ni gagdom atam ki da mission ki wang latwi da ning shi mi de le achuwe program hi in a hosami de le wa ming na world chan ashime kala ishiwi hiwi thili ki ka program ha program laga how pok we say hi achon the mi chon ramsan na samire ishiwe program hi how pok vai mabung pha mai kwai kala thing ma thei kwai we make up the John Temijon Ramsan TSNLD advisory board sadakline and sokmi gabo mirno
Kazin ramli khalaya itumuyava Tangkhul Shanao Ngarumsaklong Delhina Ranye lunghai dakle mikungo wi karing karakli kangareu hi shongta da machungrung kwai itum psychorang room haida remake up the naliding shitam sochikate program hili sharokri miki dakle atum psychorally na we mangla katarawi chipem kamiji tashumilo azazi mikshola itumna paning onglu shite mirin hi mangunu shon mane mapang shon mane kala mama thashon mane mirin go hoi hi akashimang kha itumna nawi mangali mashungda ringa kha shijina kha akashimang hi shapa gjihi tumna paning khulu shite aj kachijana watsada hot khanaju alungli nana itumli mi ka hai lemet la paning khuida kala nana mi khai lemet chi itume legishia ngasot now being na we nang khai khangai na samphanga khuya lemeti paningui da rira atumi mirin ju wangla nalining shita masot mi dale nana atumi tam khamia lang samilo atumi akhwang sa da rira khangreu heina na ungram tek mate kwai ngasaruno kuji hila rira itume ka kahau kala saya kasane je nang so da rira ara itume Ranye hi hopok ke rana na rahopok nida na narang jang sang miloda psycho hi itumui bang tang khame Christian ning sing da sia ka sane amen
ni shi share ya John Temijon Ramsan na sok ni po mi khai chi wang ari tumna ka khniali welcome address hi achon yari pi horam the chairperson TSNLD na ko khui kamirno
Orly John Shimre Ning Shinairko na tam kami wang yang the yari psycho really ari ishi hawk pokili na tume azak mai la thingai jaina na tum zak mai te khang rok sa da video la on sa mi cover ning shinare ring phanare ge ji ari in hangai yang may Tangkhuls Ngarumsaklong Livelihood on behalf of na tum psycho really ring kapha salam sadale achu sports as a livelihood hiwi webinar hili natumna itum long now tom laga kala long now hi sharuki itum lak nei da razang khai psychology ala ke yang nishina ko abi itum dadili shimwaina aburam waina tala kaina shock laga dali hili long now hi hithada rush long now hithada kada klehi rawi whatsapp ne kala rawi sokhami lak ne ji ti han ki yang hili long now hithada legda klei kala khangte organization khalei hili itum tangkhul nawi iwi sharukla zangi ji da itum kutong kha machuk laga otsang rum khawa tangkhul wi manga khawa ji leira kreng itum Delhi li Tangkhul now khalehi mishani yangwa khawa thingmati to thingphanga le sarpai la hi itum mishan thingphanga penhina kharup laga chaya ngaina malaila kha kharup laga otsang rum khawa kazangkhat itum we reigasang kala itum alungli ringkapha khangashiti magushoi ra play gichi itum ko tong khawi nawi la iwi la chili shit ka sang khale la ne yang aina chiwi shit ka sang jiwe alung chili ya na thumli ina ringphala ke hi ka da razang khai hi alung le kala aju Tangkhul Shanao Ngarumsaklong mang maning maneka long now khangtei la ka chung khalai de le churches khangtei la ka chung khalai de le ya hili nawi iwi sharuk le ye gichi hi nalila ikhalatala itum tong kha mamlai la khai se gichi hi arena tumlila hang khangai ne aju ishi Tangkhul Shanao Ngarumsaklong na sports as a livelihood pikadak le hi itum na yang walaga hi topic pa hi thada arihon itumi wakshong liang cover sports hi career aina kala kazangkhat serious sala kaina kwika da khle hi mi kuchung kham malai bi thai kala hi we apong hili mi kuchung khanala ada sakla kaina thukla kaina la moga thai kala kadha da hangra do mam chu khawa hila itunna shan khui pa me ya ajon thangjang Olympic Japan li 2020 we Olympic hi kwika khaine lai hili yang wa ka sports celebrities atun kya kha chatar le kle chinda chewing a jai itum Tangkhul Shanao kala itum Tangkhul now marazang bai mala ga chi itum ka haula chi ka haula ka chi yang jaina ringpha na ye atam hi chala khaine now Shanao ping ka chungala aju hili mai ishi mi kuchung kamera pai mene mi hangmati da khani mang razang da layang ka nawi aina aju hili ragazang hi aina makushoi raranda klai khnui thot ping kala national ping khangati sports cleaning gasang ping wi bang ji khawa athung wi bang la nawi try na makushoi sokhaming sare gi ji hi shit gasang lak ne today in our midst we have eminent personalities. We have this Professor Dr. Punting and Jennifer Luikam, Nimreiso Kodang, and Tomyo El Shimrei. We are really happy to have you in our midst, and thank you so much for giving your time despite your busy schedule. And we are really looking forward to hear from you since you have many experience in your own field. So we are really happy and thank you so much again for giving your time. Kala hili razang hai ishi hili members katongka na tumlila ringkana ye ningshina ye gaji he ari hang gaji ne kiwi bangkle jila atam hi mi katongka wili saklaga laser dak lene kana na kwishok mi khai atam ji ringpa gazan kate ningshina ko
Ningshi share ya jonya bhi mathala ke na mi psychology vapai laga welcome sami khai chi wang razang mamanda clean thumlila welcome salu shitle. Now we have come to our long awaited the most interesting part of the program, also the purpose of this whole event, that is to know the theme and to know more about sports as a livelihood. When we see the topic, it seems little general, but when we really think deeper, it is far more vast than we think it is. So today we have in our midst one of the most competent, I should say, physical educationists among the tribal communities, Dr. L. Pungding from Senapti, who belongs to the Maram community. When I last interacted with him, we had a long talk, and in fact, to be honest, I was really amazed by his achievements, by his commitments, and by what he have come like so far. To name a few, I would like to name a few. Firstly, his sports career started when he was in sub juniors, and he was the captain of India under 17 in 2001 school India team, and then he have played 6 times All India Inter University in football, and he have also played senior national Santosh Trophy, and he have also attended under 21 India camp in 2007 that was held in Gwalior, and he was a state player under 21 for 3 times, and he played in various clubs after that, clubs of Manipur, and then surprisingly he was also a chess player. He have played in All India Inter University in 2006, and he was a coach for the district in many occasions. And his work career started when he was when he was just 23 years old, he got a job in the railway in Jabalpur as a TT in 2005. But then he worked there for just 1 month and he left the job and he went for masters in masters. And then he got, right after his masters, he got a job in Kanpur University as a guest lecturer for 3 months. And then he did his MPhil and he got a job again in Punjabi University in Patiala as a guest lecturer again. And then in 2009, he got a job in Lovely Professional University in Jalandhar. And then again, he worked in international school in Gurgaon as an administrator. And in 2010, he worked in LNIP Guwahati as an assistant professor there for 3 months. And again in 2010, he moved to MU. Right now, he's still there as an assistant professor. He finishes degree from graduation, masters, and MPhil from Gwalior, that LNIP, that is one of the most reputed institution of physical education in India, and he did his PhD in MU. Like after interacting with him, I think the list may go on, but we decided we just stop here. And sir, it is an honor and privilege for all of us that you are in our midst today, and we want to thank you for accepting our invitation to be part of this webinar and for showing the concern for the Tangkhuls and the tribal community in general. So we give this time to Dr. L. Pungting. Sir, you may please take your time.
Okay, thank you, moderator. Warlai-chan, Shimrai. Respected President and Executive Member of TSNLD, respected eminent sports person present in the webinar, namely Muirang, Namaiso, Jennifer, respected organizing committee of today's webinar, and all the participants. Thank you for giving me an opportunity to be a part of this webinar. I think by looking all the screen, I think we can just mix up with Manipuri because we're all local. So today I'm going to share some point of view about the sports and the livelihood, sports as a livelihood. So throw back about the sports in our community. Traditionally, we take sports as a hobby, leftover time entertainment, leftover time enjoyment, or some kind of recreational activity. We don't take sports as a serious. Now, many people think that sports doesn't have a long career. They think that sports doesn't have any kind of profit. That is what many people of us think about the sports. Now, when we talk about sports and livelihood, we think twice. We think thrice to involve as a sports as a career. See, looking at the elderly people of our sports person in our own community. See, before going for playing, when you are about to go out for playing at home, your father, your mother started scolding you. What you will do by playing this and that. See, one thing is that before taking out the boot, I'm giving the example of a football. Before taking out the boot from your house, your parents started scolding you. What you will do by playing this and that. See your elder brother, see your elder sports person. They are struggling in their life for a livelihood. So what you will do with the sports? That is the first impression when we are about to go for the sports. So no parents have supported in the career of sports in our community, in our tribe. So that's the first backdrop of our sports to be a sports in the career. Secondly, the thing is that we have a talent in sports. We have very much talent in sports, but we put an option. How do we put an option? Because see, parents or the elder people have scolded us not to go for the sports, this and that. You look up to your elderly people, your uncle, this and that. By playing sports, they are very much struggling in their life. So by giving all those things of example, now your parents or your this friends or a neighbor make you to choose another professional. So you are very much talented in sports, but you change your primary interest into another plan B. Even though you have a talent, but you don't choose that, but you go for alternative plan B, where you are not interested, where you can be where that can be a secondary source, but your primary source interest has been withdrawn from you. So that is the first laguna of what we are. Now I will tell you an example. In every field, we can earn much better than anybody feels if you are good at it. Say, given an example, a grass cutter can earn more money than a doctor. A grass cutter can earn more money than a doctor. So if you're very good at that field, you're going to earn more money than anybody else. So your primary interest should be involved in anything. Now, sports today is no longer a game in the field. Today's sports is no longer a game in the field. It is about popularity, name frame, and which bring pride. But now, before preparing a players, we expect a goal, we expect a medal from them. See, in our community, in our tribalism, we are a seasonal player. We are not a full player, we are the seasonal player. We play only the time of when there is tournament, when there is event. So looking the example with our own brother and sister about the Meitei community, see, they took sports as a livelihood, but we took sports as an option. The first thing Laguna on here, when they dedicate fully, but we took sports an option after going for every professional. When there is left behind, that is only sports. So we don't choose sports as a first option. That is what we are so much Laguna in our own career, in our own sports. And one thing is that we don't know the meaning of win and lose. See, when we win or when we lose, we straightly went to the vendor, a bar party. Oh, today I have been defeated, so I'm not happy. Ngasidi ay program ne nungai tre vendor change. Namla busu vendor, sirabusu vendor. So there is no difference between the win and lose. Win ga ngamba ga ngam the big difference phang drabdi akhoi ji mamang kram na chakadraba. We don't know the meaning. There is no difference. So even though we are very good at sports, we become a local hero. Local hero, we cannot explore. We cannot explore. But the thing is, out here, what I want to say is that sports person should be very good in attitude. They should have patience. But our tribal people, we have no meaning of win and lose. Whether we win or whether we lose, we are in the same status, because after the game, after everything, our place is vendor or in bar place. So there is no meaning of win and lose. So without that meaning, how can we go further? Now, when we talk about sports, we take it as a hobby at first, but now we can take it as a livelihood. See, by participating in sports itself is a good idea because it improves our health. Now, as everybody knows that health is a gateway to the society. So even to say hello, you need a strength. Hi friend, hello. When you're not in a good mood, when you're not in a good health, you can even say hello to your friend. So by participation in the sports, it itself is a livelihood. So Participation in sports itself is a livelihood, is that, and it helps to the society because it is a gateway to the society. Health is a gateway to the society. Now, it helps a lot in our own place also because now there are a lot of obesity. In order to make it good about the obesity, if you participated in sports, that is itself is a livelihood. Livelihood doesn't mean only earning. Livelihood comes, it also comes about the health. We need to first think about health and secondly for the earning. By participation itself in sports, it is a livelihood. That's what I'm saying out here is that exercise is what we do. Fitness is what we live. Everybody go for an exercise, but a person who have fitness, they live. By namesake, if you do an exercise, if you do not sweat out, then there is no meaning of exercise. Because in sweat, there are three types of sweat. Firstly, that is salt. Secondly, that is sugar. Thirdly, that is water. Now you can check your own health, whether after working out for some time, whether you sweat come out salt, sugar, or the water. A person who have a lot of salt, they are more attractive by the diabetes, sugar, BP, stroke, everything. So when you go out for work, this and that, when it comes water, that means you are in the good health status. See, lot of the peoples, if you go out in the sunshine, then you will start having a sweat. But you check that sweat, it becomes salt. That means you are in the bad health. So now, just about all these things, I want to give an example. See, India is a developing country, whereas Japan and America, they are developed. We India peoples are always think about the hospital for the health, but developed country, they think of health club. Instead of building hospital, they are developing health club. Because, see, now these days, we are so much aware of COVID pandemic. And those who are very weak in immune system, they got attracted. Now, the concept of developed country is that if I'm very good in health, no disease can attack me. That is a concept of developed country. But our developing country like India, see, we are much into a hospital. We build up hospital. But developed country, they build up health club. Because, see, disease may come and go. But now you see the example of this COVID also, Ebola also, AIDS, everything. There are a lot of disease. We're going to live with the disease. So better to build up your health than an hospital. So firstly, you should build up your health. Now, when we talk about this livelihood, to take up a sports as a career and to be a livelihood, education should go along with the sports. Most of the China, most of the US people who participate Olympic, they are a university student, they are college student. 50% of them are from the university. Along with the sports, they go for an academic. But out here in India, out here in our community, if you go for sports, that means sports. If you go for study, that means studies. We never mix up. See, I'm giving my example. I'm also a sports person. I'm also an academician. But the thing is that we need to know the timing. Whole day, we are not into the play. All day, we are not into the academic. Taking out from that is not a tough thing. So, a sports person should go along with an education. Now, if you want to really go for a professional play, he can go for an academic. So it can keep going on. Why our tribal people keep sports as an option? That's the main question lies behind now. Because of our elderly people, because of our parent unsupporting. Parents are the main people who doesn't support our own people to be involved in sports. Now, after playing for this, after taking the career as a sports, we aim for only government job. Our highest aim will be in national level or to the international level, after which we want a government job. So with that motto, our peoples go to the sports career. Now recently sports have developed a lot by opening the national and international league. Before in India, sports is only a cricket in India. Now, with the coming up of national and international in other sports, sports is growing up in sports, but it is in the initial stage. Till now, in India, sports is in the initial stage. So, in order to boost up or in order to make a livelihood in sports, we need to go along with an education. Now, with an education, if you go for a sports, there are a lot of scope, there are a lot of job in sports. So you can be a sports analyst, you can be a sports lawyer, you can be a sports manager, you can be a sports psychology, you can be a sports tourism, you can be a sports journalist, sports writer, sports announcer or commentator, you can be a sports marketing. Overall that, you can be a sports seller. You can open your own store about the sports equipment and you can be a seller. Today, all the sports people are earning a lot of money. We wake up because of the Olympic. We wake up by seeing the success of national and international sports person. But still, India is in the initial stage. So we need to do a lot. So lastly, we need to build up the sporting culture in our own community. Without a sporting culture, our tribe, our community, without a big prize, we don't want to involve in a tournament also. We don't want to involve in anywhere. See, you look up to our own brother and sister like Mighty people, they go for playing of dog sports. But our tribal peoples, if the prize or if the trophy is bad, we never participate. So lastly, I want to tell you is that we should build up the sporting culture in our own area, after which we can go for a livelihood. There are a lot of scope in sports, but firstly, we need to build up about the sporting culture in our own area, after which we can go for our own livelihood. And we should go for a sustainable livelihood, not for a once, but for a sustainable livelihood. After seeing this, you will have a confidence to join in the sports, and even your parents will have a confidence to send you to the sports. So all these things should be at the earlier stage, because we have been gifted by God. Our own structure, our own movement have been gifted by God. You look up to the other people of India. By walking, by running, we are already gifted by God. What we need to do now is little bit nursing, little bit training. Chapa chain bakosu akoi budi ngasai gifted God when gifted with the body language. So mayang singdi chapa bakosu nokning busu yawe, chapa height bukang busu yawe, even chain bakosu moidi yeng bana nokning misu le. Akoi di God gifted di, atu God gifted si akoi na lobo height di, akoi de something akoi na just nearest toraga akoi si tholar di we can be much better sportsmen. Sportsmen have si I think I life so I so sports yam sana harni adu mayang singa akhoi ga compare to ganda moidi from the grassroots start arakne akhoi di grassroots da tam drupsu akhoi di intermediate tagi haurak drupsu yarabne aduna akhoi si we are very much in advantage in sports but we put sports as an option. That is the problem. Akhoi si sports tagi himang ngani haibasu tide livelihood when pai the last career option when a thambagi sports livelihood when a area the uba pangdabisi adunane. Okay, that's all for me today. So I will just come up with a question. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. I'm sure all of you and all of us must have understand what really is, and then it is totally up to us to decide our future. It is in our hands. Thank you so much, sir, for your insights and for sharing your experiences. You have rightly pointed out the lack of this thing, our support in sports and our attitude towards sports. So itong Tangkul, I'm sorry, sir, for excuse us for these things, but we'll be bilingual. Itong hili ari ana pointed out sa bing psychology the kamushung thai itong na ava bing li la mapense kala ari itong na future hi itong pangli le how kada itong na mushung ba faisa se sports we attitude hi ari ishitangkuli yang kwaji saran ba 0 to none hada tiêu la cái nang zan la cái na le da clay thai jen itong pangli clay ne itong na check faisa se ari question we question thada related question career lila and ma bazis harla hada na tumna han khangai le cover no ton ka sami lo la chat box lila or anana personally lang han khangai chen ang han milo chakava itumna question ja aramba question our clear tamli le pai chine chen itumna atama clear sure da itumi next program his atama man ho say ari hi itumi flyer mik shok chi tharan itumna chili amthe remake up the ina chili ungyam footballer a gazang ba awang ina apologize samidle I hear ari hon kido tournament girls that le jenari achi hi horzakta ala ngranai sai je kala always speech in the dangdala ili je hokra ne yang proof sada laga ahi achi hi 25 quarter finals hi ashi pungatum horzak ari arang reod le re ishine hili le de ne jena ahi mara tre ka achi hi awim hotsada kangrona has hasar hogida mohotsada isum li ma haila kaina tomyo el shimre here ishi Tangkhul now here football kala sports leave ning sang mi yurne ning sange hada itumna yang khachan ta da mo virus halala itum akaina ka ari na tangda hada local liver khangreu liver satna la ke kala sports ngreu han chaung ji sala active ka samia kala ke adan issue we speaker na point out ka sada ka maina kala football ji hai hada world cup no issue we hada Kimamay Champions League football we tournament je khai ba Shanao la miang nao like Shanao la mutai la the ground playground chi kupui game a khane kala issue wang Tangkhul na wang je khawa football he gifted sala khai game a khala ke kala yang khwa chi saran football player la chung make up ta le re kala athum la manga khwa la chung ka jang ba ba me a chi we manga khwa wi chai chi thomyo el shimre nui la ken le de klene zingum thada ji ko man ka thare kala ahi position he attack in railway ahi singkum 2017 to 18 he Yarkok United ling rail pokne kala juitili 2018 to 19 he Atletico de Kolkata chili club ling railway kala 2019 2020 Bangalore United ling railway kala another him hang lo da hange ka ahi arhon mahai la ken issue wang bam kmi da ka maina shimli bam da klene ka club akhali sign sai laga ashiwi chili calling let ari officially ma barang ngai da shimli bam da klene jena itu muiwang kala kham hai akang sai ahi hunthun naw ne ari ana hang shoga ge tomyo ili pyomi lo ahi real kashmir ling real gi da le da klene sign sai laga official call khangrai sane jenari itmui mang itmui alungle tomyo el shimre ana hi razang midle ningshi tomyo no atom ko khumilo
make up the rally ningshi la TSNL Delhi training she kiwang kha jiga ita sakam ta ya dami ina mukhui yimne brawi lu commission le shi maina ita tam sambang sak te sai kor he kiwang phai kala tum sai kor ring pa program sa no chi he hangai iwa ming thomyo el shimai hoye I hun phun no ne kala ishi china wa he trukle kala ishawa ishawa he liwa rekwa mi ne iwi mirinli thada ina challenges samai kap ta ta khai mirin he por khne he thada prior result da shim khuri ingrak ring pha tu kida phaisa rin ni ta ha jot sam bangai ina trials chung khazat ngai ngai pongre the trial chapang ta da re zat ngai ka ishi shim ko na phaisa mai tu kida puta lo fine mai tu kida mazak sak adam ra rai rai nei shamai shawari hangai da trial hey zat ngai tena da phaisa ta ngran mi ro da hangai na rai shamai shawan iri akshida da puneri chodai trial da khwai ji phaisa ji to ta gaina da ran khui mi gai puneri chodai ji puneri hafta kha trial da sai ina puneri trial hafta da sa ga I mukhui thue ina hanung ga shamai shawai da chimai na ungsam phangsi nang de im chu gai ina shimyung ka sa shamai shawan iri mang yo da hangni ka da je mu chu gai ina da flight de da tong man ga ina da mi ke chara da ina sia sai ra ri na phamai ka ja dam chi na ran mi ro no da ina sia sai ina da bi ban iri ning kha ga sang mi ina shimyung ga ji tharan shamai shawan iri ki ga mang ne shamai shawan iri sia sa mi da ya 당에 하다 시합방 메도 사러 오는 방 시합삼에 시합사 회방네 게 이는 하다 어떻게 나지를 뭐 수자라고 당에 이는 하다 그래서 왔나 완만해 그라 주체리 이나 델히 갈루시데 델히 델히네 데 트라이얼 가정에 델히네 트라이얼 가정가 통당망 트라이얼 사이 제 포레이너 거 샤갈이 사이 하나 이리 하다 이 너의 강력이 하다 좀 담네 na hi level ka shum le issue team jang gitan na ngo da hang jin den ini thada ramrem da ngo we ji thada ina tel hi shim mi room le ong ga thada ina sha sa lu shi le ra le na phang ko ja tam an mi ro da ina shima ga fam sam ne I jang chat nei da na shima fam sa na shima ki da 이게 뜨다가 그만 기사지 그중가 하오 이 다 닝조 다 기사 사파이 맨 등야 총기 다 샤사에 비라 ina thoshongji iri hindustan tire tangphai hora sai thoda ga ji den thada yuling pha ji hang phai ram ne ina hindustan tire ja sangai hindustan tire ja sanga hindustan tire da ya khamang khura da shai ina ji ba sang ga mi sha khala ngai tire ji imang ko khui sam phangai ina thada ina ring phai in ji chiri ina tire ji khwer ga hindustan science hawe to phaisa ram jung ne ina phaisa chu bang 이런 쪽네 다들 클럽 대상지 이유는 과제 한 파이면네 다 이 힌두스탄의 로만드가 힌두스탄의 이 페이사람 다들 밈네 페이사다 이유 셀러리 작하지는 배밈네 지리 이나 이유 공파 딜라 하시나 명서 밈네 이유 트래블링 사거기다 프랙티스다 발라 그라 백파스니 지르람 다담 삼임네 이유와 페이나 셔자주왕 페이사주왕 이나 검된 참네 라리 ina siasai da iri pangshap no in khekang khai pangshap chimiro da ina rai siasai ina thada practice ba chingai tournament yo hada I hada pangshone tene iri yung sona hona ra hangla sai na na khik shakza za ma sai na ta de hwang ha pangchi sai da hangai tene iwini inam chukai ina oktui shakza pha pha jim za la rai ina siap sang mai na da I ibing iring khekang ina thera de ina chankui 요방 하다 이나 비바리는 닝시에 그래니 힌두스탄에 하다 파라마이나 역그 선풍에 원력 중을 다해 위닝 고지나 선풍선에 요방 이에 하다 매니저빈나 이 쇼콜로지에 시작에 범프세다 하네 그게 하다 타고면 opportunity 에티케 고거다리 레오 파이지 트라이얼 호르시데 이나 지다정을 그 합다 흔히 이 트라이얼 사이 미 샤파랑에 트라이얼지 그다 이위닝이 하다 그可能中层嘛一些，那这大中餐，你下班这腾个这的米怎么啦？米够熟进来，那的那哪里下在那那位，那你有个叫提配米个，那一点阿西他们搞个大型两色米罗的，印度为 top team 出来的那这上来那个位， ta thang thang da show man hafta last final round ne iri ku kui sambang ai go go da je tayar za da kui da iri course na ku shira kai course na hangra sai nari hui management ding da manager ding da nari ku show ko da hangai kha ina nawi hot na na nawi patient khe hi thai ga ina nari sem rai da ina nari pang khoi ne ina tha na zat pa chi ri tha na pang me kha zat pa hai sa da hangai ni na tha da rai tha ning shi me ina muzang ram ne chi kha ji tha da yu siak sam ning na yu ku psychology de tha da raw du commission mai na tha da e ko da je tang le e tha da issue jim ni ina ko tom kap da thai khoi yang Alex can division khane ji in theory in a third day jang ai or da khai ji da ina chi kam sar ne I khate na da raw du commission mai na da yu chung zai da da tai da e chu ina da Bangalore sang ai da yu documents video hong we da India IFN ai wang chang thru pen same we mong yo pai fai ta thal ina da ningram chot ne da ring pha gai na Bangalore ne pasina iri science same ga chi thai ga yu ne je injury kya ko le da I thada mo yo thui singum je yu ne I thada shimmi singum khni ba mai re inang chang ram chatam ne ta thada ran iri phak mai chin ran mi re da ina thada khonching ai ina shira kai na chona yu e chen iri na re Kashmir na offer lai thada ai lik ne ofai da hangai ina chi science hai da ning shira kai rari da la Tangkhul psychology da iri siak sai na tom ming lok ching se de ina yu shina hangai me ni shira ga tang ha khni wa
ni shlai expect masa samne cha khang nu yamina rally ya shi sang laga tandu create strategy rally siak sai na weapon thadang sal ga goosebumps samang ya ning shinai thomyo no we zadrak we shong zai gi itum Tangkhul Nagas da financially sounds like kaiwa malem ne kala supportive sala kai malem ne kha nu wang ran siak sang han ga mi laga na shaben na shabana la ka to mi laga malai sala lang ran mi laga ka to mi khai ji wang itum sai ko na ralim sot mi ngai ya kala na hi tha da Tangkhul wang yang ga bai mi a sa da kli itum lang so ye kala na za pa gi da kli ma hai mir no da la hangai ari nali tha da football ga ji shi Tangkhul wang ning sang na kau gi da kala national bing shogra da kli bing la chung kli hau ga da nana ari no challenges wa itum na chai re kala nana ka tha da overcome sa la ji no se ha na overcome sa ye ji itum tong na sha sam ngai re ka araba shogra da kli national bing li kala ishi Tangkhul na bing li kala abu aba bing li nana key message mi ngai
makeup da ina shogra da national bing ni hangai da siak sai na ring sak ngai kala aba u khang aba na ki sang sak ngai re ji thai dar kar sai ka khne sada ich jaw hot kana hard work dar kar sai sot naw na kizing hamai da bang reu sei da ba khang reu chima ina mung sang sak ngai ne ki bang phai kana football le shi da ka bang hui ne aba na naw ji le shi da thang ji da chagzam chai ji ta ka mai na I khata ina football le shi wang football ji jing ham sing wa kum khaim ne kizing no ra practice ha phang re am ra practice ha phang ai dik dam lo pai thum da music ko pai da itum mi watch da thang ji da watch focus relation phang ne ti he hangai ya da kne thuma sada itum he wat nam sang ka psychology are mane da khai ji zamna kai na ro khu ra ma khara ka ngmau we ti ta ka mai na talent le la wat nam sang ka psychology are mane ya ti da ina ni to ti hangai
ka nana abu aba bing li hang ngai kli la
thada ba bing ni thada ne hyang ai na ngra di engineer sang sa hi tharo for sign am sang sangai ne wang kre chi ka na ngra ji na nau ji na ki sang ai kai ji first ka thai da kar sai nau ji na football ji le shira ji da football ji neong sa bro ka tam tharai na khai ni ro ji da hang stein sa kai for sang sangai
okay ni shinai thomyo itum aji li thek sha sam ngai re awi ka da zadra khai kle kala ka da overcome sak lag jila the re kala national bing le shoga da kle national bing le ana ka da zadra kle ju example la kala ke itum ne itumi national bing no naunga bing no chon bu active nga azareng la kala apa naunga shoga da kle national bing le itum ne handshake paisa se aji li mangrum kher ava ba la chung kale de le ka ari ishi Tangkhul na bing ba hada athang issue ocha every issue speaker na point outside the issue ba active sala ke sports liver kala matam na thar la wagzang ji tharan thada stand out sa shabe ya ka ana thomyo na hang khai ta kamai na khai zan na ke na baro sar la makralak akava ngam baba ma wai kala sang ma ba bam ne ning shinai ri thom yo ishi Tangkhul Shanao long wi mathun aina nali kala hili zang de kle achi ri ra de kle webinar ri zang de kle sai koran nali all the best kaji hangai kala no wi za ba ki de kle journey no future mapung phamai da kala rally na sadra khaili nga kaw khra da ngamai na sa ba ki de kle li la nga kaw wa lo shit lo kala itum no wang lang so la ke na Tangkhul ngak khak sa wang itum sai koran no wang ring phami e kala lang so i kaji hangai ni shi share thom yo Ari hiwi kaknya Ari star parents tau say kaknya li tumna we have today in our midst Jennifer Luikam. She's from Hunpun village and she's born in Ukrul but brought up in Haryana, Gurgaon, and she's 21 years old. Right now, Ari national ranking. She was former Indian #1 under 16 and she was former India #5 under 18 and she's currently India #11 in women's category and international ranking. She was a former 250 ranked when she was just 15 years, but she stopped playing after that age. Tingum 15 Adam kakshung Adam jili she was 250 ranked jili rank jili like sane. And now she is currently ranked 997th in WTA ranking. Yeah, our best ranking was 809, but she's currently ranked 997. Ari itumi alumni Jennifer Luikam da ajun mi kathai ali gajik thana kathai le sara gajik thana lamak thai le sara kala ahi Tangkhul tui thada ukruli ma pamga kito tugi da kshava shaye ka Tangkhul tui chaka mamti kidak saji kamti jikte kana comfortable sami ta hange. Luckily we are fortunate enough that she's here today with us. Jennifer Luikam, if you're here, please put on your video and then take your time.
Hi, everyone. Firstly, thank you for inviting me to this lovely webinar and to all the hosts and the blessings from all the elderly people and the people around being a part of this. Well, I don't know what to say. I'm going to try talking Tangkhul a little. Kateo katong huithata struggle saye kateo nava, but I was quite fortunate that I didn't have to face a lot of problems. I'm sorry, I can't do this. So I didn't have to face a lot of problems as a kid, as a growing child, and very fortunate that my parents were willing to support me through this career, though I'm the only athlete in the family from both my dad's and my mom's side. So we as a family had to learn and grow together and, understand the sport and the industry in the field that we are in. That was a struggle, but that was also like a family thing, It was like a growing point for all of us and a great bonding time for all of us at the same time. So, junior days, I did quite well, I believe. Then came the seniors where, obviously at some point of your life, you tend to struggle and then you need to go through a certain phase where you need to get motivated, find motivation of your own and question yourself sometimes if this is the right path for you, if this is what you want to do. And every time I questioned myself and I always said, this is what I want. So there was a lot of stumble. But then at the end of the day, you just have to communicate with your coach, your family, your parents, They always help you understand your thought process, your feelings and emotions. The more you talk, the more you overcome your negativity and stuff like that. So I believe while you always, have certain priorities, like for me, priority would be being a professional athlete, but then at the same time, education is very much important. It's like a backup thing, which is natural for all the Indians. And for, of course, the Tangkhul community as well. You cannot slack on that. So I believe my parents gave me a lot of freedom to do what I wanted, but then also gave me a routine that I had to follow at the same time. So if I followed this, I could do this. You know, it was like, do this, you get that, do that, you get this. But it was a good thing. I had a good timetable, all managed out. When there was a point I wasn't allowed to take leave from school, so then my parents said, because I wanted to continue tennis and do it professionally, they went on to change my school. They took that step and they changed my school to a school which, you know, supported athletes, which is like maybe not as much of a big deal to probably, you know, anyone, but for me it was. It was a big step. It was a big decision that they took, and just for something so uncertain that you don't know if you're going to achieve, if you're going to do well, there's a lot of if in that category. So with that if in mind and making such huge decision, it's like a big deal for me. And here I am. I'm still struggling, but I'm still grinding, and I'm going after what I want to do.
Thank you. I'm sure you're fortunate enough to have supportive parents like that. And Jen, we would like to throw you some questions. I mean, if you don't mind, you have said the challenges you have in your careers, but we would like to ask you, as a woman specifically, related to this women thing, what are the challenges, and as a woman, what's the most challenging and hardship you face as a sports person, specifically as a woman?
Okay. Firstly, traveling was difficult. Yeah. I was a kid and I'm a girl. On top of that, I look like, Mm-hmm. So it's like my mom had to travel with me at all times. So that was like double the expenses. And tennis itself is like one of the most luxurious sports. So it's already very expensive. So that was one difficulty. But then the other thing was I wasn't accepted as a Manipuri or as a Haryanvi, because I played tennis for Haryana for quite a while, because I lived there most of my life and we didn't know sports. I mean, there were a lot of rules. We just applied it through Haryana, and then just a couple years ago I changed it to Manipur. So at the time when I was playing in for Haryana, and I came to play in Manipur for one time, some local tournament at a club, they changed my last name. They changed it to Devi. And I'm like, this is not good. They didn't accept me. So I'm not accepted in Manipur. I'm not accepted in Haryana. And then people just don't think I'm Indian at most times, Sure. The knowledge of us is very little. And I'm so glad that I'm from Manipur, and I'm telling people that I'm from India, from this part of the country. And it's like an immense pleasure. It's amazing. Like I can just tell people like I'm the only girl from Manipur who's doing this shit. I mean, I'm sorry, but it's just like it's so cool. Like I'm proud of it. I hate to say it, but I'm proud of it deep down, and I'm not ashamed of it. I'm proud of the fact that I've achieved all these stuff, and I'm here to accept all this.
Okay, Achonya, you want to ask something?
Jennifer, we are really happy to hear from you, and as an eminent international player, I want to ask you questions for those players who are struggling and who are at domestic level, who wants to come, of course, into the national platform. Can you please give us some of the survival tricks in the industry? We have talent, but other than the talent, how can they come into this industry?
For as far as what I know, one thing is you need to be shameless and determined. You got to be selfish, like super selfish to be in any kind of sport. And in tennis, you must be very selfish. And certain gradual steps to come up to national level or international level or whatever it is that you want to achieve. So first start would be, train in Manipur. There are a few really good academies and good players down there. I have personally played there and I've seen them play. Really good players. That's the first step. Secondly, you start playing tournaments. The more tournaments you play, it's difficult with the financial. Everyone has financial problems, but you got to sit down with your parents and tell them, figure it out. I don't know how much, because this is a lot of financial. This takes a lot of financial stake, and it's just very easy to say it out loud. You can achieve it if you plan on it and all, but financially you got to see it yourself. Your family has to see it. And then, of course, if you continue to do well, you get sponsors.
Well, that's a good news. And for some of us, well, Jennifer, we are really proud of you, and you made it that far despite all the challenges and despite all the difficulties that you faced. And I'm proud that, and you're bold enough to face that, and you're proud of it. We're very happy and we're very proud of you. I will just ask one more. Okay. So as the last question, I would just ask a common one, like, what do you want to convey to the women, like sport aspirant, or to all the Tangkhuls especially, be it parents or be it the sports person?
First thing that comes to my mind is communicate with your parents.
Mm-hmm.
And follow what your heart aspires to do.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And be determined about what you want.
Okay.
These are maybe very simple to hear, but then something that runs down really deep in the roots. So something that really helps in the future. That's what I've learned over the years, that communication is a big deal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
If you don't communicate with your parents, they wouldn't ever know. They wouldn't ever know.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
And they can never help you otherwise.
Mm-hmm. Okay, Jen, just part of the question. Let me just ask, for some, okay, you said communication is the key towards convincing our parents. So for us, especially even if our parents want to support the sports person or the one who is interested in, we don't really have these facilities, and also we lack in so many things. So would you like to add anything to bring the necessary changes, or is there anything that you think when you do this it might bring some changes?
Yes, it is difficult with all the circumstances that we have from where we all come from. But these days, there are, I would really like to help. I would personally really like to help. And there are ways that I could really help. And I look forward to doing so.
Mm-hmm.
But that's going to take a little while. Mm-hmm. And meanwhile, if you really do want to play a certain sport or learn something, you could, nowadays technology is really advanced stuff. You could go online, you could learn things from online videos, and it's available without just a click away,
Mm-hmm.
So if you put in the effort and show how much you want it, your parents will have no choice but to give you what you want. Mm-hmm. They will die for you, that's what all parents are like, even if they might not be able to eat one meal, they would make sure that you get what you want if you are willing to do whatever it takes.
Yes, that's
true.
So
first thing has to come from within, like from yourself, from your end. If they don't see it, if you just say, oh, I want to do this, they won't just let you do it. You have to show them how much you want it. So there are ways you can do things with whatever that you may have in your reach. So that's my approach. And in the future, yes, I do have plans to, help with the knowledge that I have. I mean, I can't help in other fields, but with my field, I do have plans, and I look forward to achieving them.
Hi, Jen. Thank you so much for joining us. Supplementing to what you have mentioned earlier about scholarships, sponsors, and all, are there any options? Like, what are the options and choices that entry level players would go for? Like, are there any options? Any scope of scholarships or sponsors at the entry level that people from financially weak background can go for?
It is very difficult to get sponsors unless you're, super great athlete, and people see that in you and you're winning tournaments. It's very difficult to get sponsors in India, especially. So the thing that you get out of tennis is when even if you're not like great, or like you're struggling to get sponsors, but you're still out there, the chances of you getting a scholarship in the US colleges are much higher. And you don't even have to pay a penny to study in their college. You get paid. Some colleges pay you, but that's your choice if you want to go there or not. And all you got to do is give a SAT exam and all that stuff, obviously, before you go there. There's certain things that you need to do. But with tennis comes these advantages of you getting into a college, really good colleges, in scholarship, 100% or could be 80%, depending on your ranking and your skills and your talent. But if you want to continue as a professional, the struggle is going to continue until you make it to, I don't know, say one in India number 1, or at least top 3. India top 3.
Thank you very much, Jen, and thank you for asking questions. Jen, we are very grateful for you being with us here today, and we are so proud of you on behalf of all the Tangkhuls, and on behalf of everyone present here today. We want to wish you all the best, and we want to wish you the best of luck in your ongoing tournament and in your future. We are counting on you, and we would be proud to see you more often in the news and headlines. We're looking forward to it and your contribution as well in the future. Thank you so much, Jen.
Thank you very much for your kind words and blessings.
Thank you. Isumna kaktuma star appearance chili tause interaction. Nganui lakwe. He's none other than Nimre So Khodang. Kaji thaba thede lere. He 2001 li kaprane. Ari he nganui laken lefi le gari he physical education alaka chili graduation sak bai ngrand le. He 2018 our sport journey he chili hawk pok ne gold medal in 8 state level Jeet-Kune-Do championship our sporty Jeet-Kune-Do ya chili gold medal samang jine, and then silver medal again, another silver medal in 2nd Jeet-Kune-Do Federation Cup 2018 in 55 to 60 kg senior boys Manipur represent national willy. And he got a gold medal again in 2nd National Zen-Kotai Karate Championship in 2018. He Jeet-Kune-Do mang la karate la khangreo sak sae, and then he got a gold medal in National Zen-Kotai Karate Championship in 2018 under the category of 55 kg men's. Kala chiwitili bronze medal in 3rd National Open Zen-Kotai Karate Do Championship in 2019. And then he got a gold medal again in International Martial Arts Organization, International Jeet-Kune-Do Federation in 2019 in 60 kg weight category. And he have also achieved a black belt in Jeet-Kune-Do. Black belt samangkai mine national ni dang sika mine. Ariba men's willing le ka ituma yankava national le he have achieved so much arena yankra international level bashungda he gold medal samangkai yarona khane he grihang wenane kala he's born and brought up in Ukrul itum ya lumlina na rami da clay kala mathan to accept sami da clay itum arinali no atam khimilo.
Good evening everyone. okay kakhnili organizing committee Tangkhuls Shanao sat Delhi Bashil Mala Tangkhul Khangyor pin heli kutom khuralaga athumna thalagai na sak mangla nishi hela azu ho sami da khaya achonor janala hitha achonthang inform ili sagalaga hitha opportunity khandi bangla nishi jenagla chief guest speaker Dr. L Kunting Mai Temyo Shima kala Jennifer Likhamnala sports as a livelihood we maramni thalakana dimere nathumila prena somirno ina iwi ngreza dakhleya hili tiomaka share sangaye iwamina numerous okhoda I grihangwena nei in area DM University for physical education tambale iwi khamro hopokhe thada interesting salakni class 8 li tamdele ga iwi isi classmate ya longe chipat khamro khi leogida main sala na self defense tambok chini then tamamanda interesting samma naogida after 4 years with libo dormani ke satsam bo we kala joina kresa da ina dormani ke zati snapati li state level changro we kala chili khangro chi chani ko sambang during pasada came by Iwang Yongashon kindly Juena Brainala Lumshan Mangana in every tournament that Kishita Arurashunda metal Kurashume Gorn Hitanga silver bronze the Kurashume Jubanga Litra Hanishi Jena in Haipanava Ishitangula Talena Jungan Tupome Ishitangul Kunito Pinhiva sports recover football month the contract that he may Tangkhul footballer Junga short performing is Tangkhul talent here football mounting to be the research we are sure of is to notice being here but to me body structure here boxing da athletic ta kung fu thai by the hang they say we have enormous potential miracle long thada shok pai ki changi talent da is Tangkhul Naga talent na chung po ba may kala brain la leslak po mawida kala proper guidance kala infrastructure hi kharnau bin kala thanau bin khyengsam da hangai kala awawa bin support la chungha darka sai da hangai jibawa ila atama le reo thara atam ji translate ila isishim kunala mamya samne athumnava ile larik pam thada tam thulu dhange ka isabu abawa bina naurali samamanda larik tam sangai phungi jika isi tam phungi sangai jika physical education tambai kala thada nero thu khai tran apongla chungha thekui pai the kala khnau sada ina akhangawe inang rora khai li thegu khi kala sportsman nak sara the commitment le heka bin hi abo chami phung ta hangai khresa da langso ninga yamle phungin ne ithuna langso hai tran brain la mlishi po bo le then gakni lina area rai tha chamkor tha khmang to beko thak sha hi mishi chin phumra ithuna kitna sak changlai na ro sai jila hi chi na ke sabang ba Jorlak hang saure kala sportsman nak sadava dum sahia physical fit salai na hai pungi jini ka thumalina about sexual immorality hi about sa pungi jini hina sportsman bingiwa laziness la sangsa ke kala stamina la shmani the hi about saikawa hard work thada sahomni ji yarina jingena na mishla ya hangai
Okay, ning shnai ni misona we nanda zat kali nanda kata hapokle kala no journey yumaram le hangmere kala nanda la message hada sa da sa khaba manga ba mere kala issue Tangkhul khangryo no tong khag jimning ne kha khangryo no Tangkhul mang meaning sala kata especially our tribal community itumi hada makhaning ning khangryo ko bai ga makhaning ning athang issue is guest speaker na khangda kamaina venture hada celebrate sala uknang la hada venture li vai je yang kala ji Chinala itumi future shimsashman mi kala example a bad example set hami kjine kala hada immoralities itumi moral ka jakshi me kala ava va na chu wang na yang ba la support ma sa kai la chu lai ba me chu wang na la ka ni mai so question a khang hanau ge no we sporty ishi tangkhul liwa da thailak ma jirang ngai kala mi ka chungjali khang han charan ka thailam thai samre Jeet-Kune-Do ya kala karate he nana like especially when hapo in nana ka thada thaipok laga no we zil ka thada rapo ka do
really he yong ala khai mu sa samne yu kim ba ye ka long le chipat ho yo phok ji ni la phawla khaya robot force na hang hai thada two road diverse in the woods I took a less travel by they make all difference the ana hang hai de ro phok atam hi than le im son no bi hin la yu kim ba ye chung da mong ro thui ka ba ye khang ro hi khang ro ji chan zat khwa ji chan la yu bang da kan na la achievement chung sam sa da hai
okay ning shinai itumna less road travel sai imrakli ba scary sar ke yang ka chi ko khui laga difference it made all the difference mishunga ga ning shinai ni so akhang hanu ya okay what is your future goal or dream arava na hi da no we khangro journey la rapa pa mai re laga no we future li na ki achieve sangai do no bang
이 그정하도 이 ngro manda aron hi pandemic leogida hi jana khangro hi international hi aksita songrong hi hi pandemic leoda hi aron hi sam chawi jiwena thada ya bonda liksana
okay kim thamne pandemic ko clear da na ri ga dong ma hai me no da hangai achon yarp you want to say something
so now we credibility chili yang cover na kala na class 8 ai na ngariyo pho khai ni yang laga ngariyo gachi da na gold medal silver or maning cover bronze ki sampang shon da claim ta nei chi la yang chi da cover no we wang shong ai na commitment ni da claim ba ma la kai na mi da claim ni a khane yang players a khane na itum di laga ari he then the clay kata da kiwi maramai na kata da chief ta khui kala hiwi along hi na discipline sa kind of lay the lay raise it lay jaina da no we discipline we maram jili la you ko share some lo cho
ina nyozo da clay hi itumi brainal traha ada awi jirma ada awi la kaktom kula awi thada itumna atumni la ai itumna khangyoji translate kula itumna itum ina khai thada he kula bakhni lin wa area rai hi chamkho hi pin hi mishi chimphumra kula he evocha kungi na sportsman bindiba ejila sangsa ke kala stamina la shmanmi he evocha ka da harbo wa tharap mawe jithawgida isumna roshan rothaila ada he follow chaka wa thada aremang sawe he ina
ni so nali ni shinai kala no we na message pa sami kai kala na example na klata na ring laga discipline lai lakai na khangro na sada itumi khangro yang khwa chan kajik thawa discipline me lai lak ni yang laga especially itum thada Tangkhul now being here generally tribals now being here thada sports live discipline hi ta ka sa lakai kha discipline wat na ji thai kala commitment nanam thalakai na mi da klei ji thai laga ishi Tangkhul ka sa laga da itum lang so lakai na we ga actually mahai me no jangai I think someone raised his her hand.
Yeah, so Nim also mentioned about as a sports person you shouldn't take drugs and then how to guide the sports person. So my question to him was that if we look at Ukhrul, Ukhrul side, there are many budding sports players, but then there are also many drug addicts who are like unable to do what they want. So as a sports person, what are the plans that we can do, or what are the ways that we can encourage the young budding players? So like, what is your take on that? That was my question.
Oh, if I may say, I mean, it would be difficult for an athlete who's already crossed their teenage years. It is difficult to play with their minds. I mean, now that they've got their own mind and they have their own decisions to make, it's just kind of difficult. But an early age engagement to sports with a lot of disciplines would really help them, alongside with the right examples. For instance, we as human beings, we tend to give examples of the people who are doing wrong and then compare with the people who are doing right. So we don't need, as an athlete myself, I've struggled with this with my parents, where they used to compare me and or give me examples. That comparison just made me feel small about myself instead of encouraging me. So I just feel like the way you use the words you manipulate to communicate with your child or with your athlete, with your peers, is very vital, and that plays a huge role in one's mind. And every person is different, so how you communicate with the person and their mindset, only you would be able to know if you are very close to that person and you want to make changes in their lives. So for me, it would be more about engaging them at an early age with a lot of disciplines and the right environment. Environment would be the friends they circle around with and the positive talks that you may have with them.
Okay, thank you very much, Ajahn Sky, for the wonderful question, and also Jennifer for answering it nicely, wonderfully. And thank you, Nimrik. So, Ning Shanao in the question, no insights, no experience, and la, Dalagan shares, Amikaju Wangyang, no we Mangali later claim, no we goal. No we none achievement none the ning chance psychology ungshung sarno itum Shanao kala reason the place Tangkhul Nagas corona nali all the best kaji hui Shanghai kala nui future mangava me no bji hangai kala itum Tangkhul Nagas ada nali langsola kai no wangai na kala zadwagi da klei la itum lila langso meng sak fellow ya dinner all the best. Thank you so much, Nimesto. Arava we have come to the concluding part of our webinar, and sadly, okay, so we have come to the question hour. And I want to ask all of you, in case you have questions, please raise your hand and I will give the time to you. And then I have some questions here who have sent it to me earlier, and I will ask them to you one by one. And yeah, the question for the first question, sir, I would the questions here with me is that where do you think our tribal communities can excel? And then what kind of games or sports do you think we can take part given the current condition and facilities in our communities? We all know the condition and the facilities, and then we cannot change overnight. So what are the sports or the game do you think we tribals can excel in, given our condition?
Okay, so by looking to the present scenario, through the facilities and everything, now in our tribal community, we are very good in this boxing and in archery. So two games, and we are, I think I will not be wrong to say even a javelin throw, because from our primitive tribe, from our forefather, we have been coming with hunting, and so from the primitive tribe, the sports has been included itself out there. So we will be good in javelin, boxing, and in wrestling also. Okay,
thank you. Is there any question?
I'm talking according to the facilities present out here now. A lot of sports you can take up, like the roll ball also, because I think whether you heard about the roll ball or not, roll ball is much sports into our tribal by seeing the structure, no? Just you see in the YouTube, the roll ball game is mix of catching and mix of handball and basketball. So that game will really help in our physical structure.
I guess we need to change our sport from football to somewhere else. Huh? Everyone. Okay, thank you so much. The next question is, currently, which sports do you think is most beneficial and prospering in India?
No doubt, that is cricket. Cricket is ruling India's sports. Cricket has destroyed India's sports also in one way. But in another way, because of cricket, now sports is... We think that cricket has destroyed the sports. But in another way, we can think that cricket is making our sports bigger. So right now, to choose a sports in your own locality, you have to, firstly, as I said before, that you have to have a sporting culture. Sporting cultures is that, see, if you play hockey out there in Okrul, no one will be interested. So what is good at your own place? Karamba sports na maming chapra aduda, karamba sports na noibo chalaga entertain tawang ambra, khotpang ambra. That sports should be taken out there. Because now, if I say, oh, you take out wrestling or you take boxing out there, Okrul da kanani interest like that, because that will be very new to them. It will be very new to them. So what is happening out there? What is Kri sports chanabra adu the first adu preserved or adu first grow up to the yadne. Do grow up second sports that second step to lakta aduna sports firstly psychological na sanabne. Think sports is played by psychological. In every game, 70% of the game is played by psychological. By skill, 10% by technique. See, football yam high heraga ball si carry daraga jilibi gum same ledi daga tade carry pai raga jilibi gum daraga mamang da chatradi. What is the use of that?
Yes.
Use of the ball si pai mutam lai pai de mutam lai. So psychological play main role in every game of sports. Without psychology, there is no game.
Yes. Okay, thank you. I guess psychological and our brain works equally as we did in our physical thing. So I think when we come to psychological thing, education is there. So we should know the balance of it, the education and the sports thing. When we are involved in sports, we should also be educated enough to be psychologically sound as well. Thank you, sir. I think that answered the question. And next is, what subject should someone interested in sports as a career should opt for?
See, now I think you have heard about the new education policy, NEP.
Yeah.
In NEP, all are compulsory to take physical education. Physical education became a compulsory subject. And now the UGC have come up with a strong point that without a sports officer in college, they will not be given a sports fund also. So to take up a course, physical education course is now growing up like anything. Developed country, physical education is the first priority subject, whereas in India, we keep as an optional subject, this and that. But now in new NEP, it become a compulsory subject. So open subject, no? We have in physical education, we have a lot of subjects like sports psychology, sports physiology, sports biomechanics, health, yoga, and those things, no? It becomes departmental. So firstly, as a general, physical education should be opted.
Yes, okay. Yes, for some of us, they might not know what really is, what are the subjects studied in physical education. Some of us think that when we take course, when we offer physical education, they think that we'll be playing in the college the whole day. But that's not the case. We learn anatomy, we learn physiology, we learn biomechanics, we learn psychology, we learn like every necessary things that we need in our lives. Okay, so that is one thing to be clear about the physical education. Okay, sir, there is a question that comes from our audience. For BE education, physical education, what are the good colleges in India and what are the career opportunities?
Okay, the good colleges in India there is one even in Delhi as we study now.
Yeah.
LNIP Guwahati,
Yes.
LNIP Gwalior, Patiala, and there is LNIP out there in Trivandrum also.
Yes, yes.
So all these colleges are very actually renowned colleges about physical education in India.
Yes.
So by taking the physical education, I think if I started counting, there are a lot of scopes in physical.
Yes.
As I've said you before, but to become a sports officer, we need a physical education. To become a coach, you need the physical education. See, one thing I want to clear out here is that PTI and PET is different. When we talk about physical education, we misconcept. Oh, we shall buy a class over me and first you think like as a referee to us. PTI means physical trainer instructor. They are different. And when we talk about physical education, they are the teachers. So instructor, they are for only one game. Teacher, they are all for all subjects. But people think that PTI. So the misconcept of physical education and instructor. When we talk about job out here, there are a lot of jobs. You can be a sports scientist also. If you took up the physical education, you can be a sports scientist. As I said, you can be a sports journalist. I read out there are a lot of scopes. You can be even a physiotherapy. By taking up physical education, you can be a physiotherapy. A manager, you can be a just sports tourism. There are numbers of jobs in physical education, and I will just suggest to my young brother and sister to take up with the physical education, because now NEP have subject in physical education and we have a lot of scope in physical education. And in Manipur also, now government have started taking this physical education teacher, physical education lecturer. So there are a lot of scope. Even now we are trying to make, even in the sports district also, district sports officer, that should be from the physical education. So yeah, there are a lot of scope in sports.
Yes.
In sports, whereas there are more scope in physical education.
Okay, thank you, sir. When he referred to LNIB is Lakshmibai National Institute of Physical Education. One is in Gwalior and one is in Guwahati and one is in Trivandrum. And then the one in Delhi is called Indira Gandhi Institute of Physical Education and Sports Science.
Yes, and another is Patiala also, yeah.
Yes. So there are lots of institutions for physical education. So if you are interested, if you want to know more about it, you can search up internet also, or you can contact me or sir also, I guess. So
now you should be feel proud that in Manipur also there are 6-7 colleges which open physical education.
Yes.
Physical education. Now
in
Manipur
MU also
physical
they
education
offer it.
also.
Yeah, in DM also is there, and one of the national sports university is also set up there.
Yeah,
so the scope for this physical education is a lot. So I guess if you're looking for a job and if you're interested in, you're lucky, and I guess you should enroll. You should suggest your younger ones, or
even in Assam, even in Assam State open university about sports itself.
Okay.
Also, they have Assam State has opened their own sports university. For Manipur, that was National University, but in Assam, that is Assam University of Sports. They have already opened about that also. Now, sport is growing like anything.
Okay, yeah, that is true. Yes, sports. I guess even the fever for the Olympic is still with us. So, I guess that answers the question. So due to time constraint, I'll just jump to the next question. The next question is, it could be the last second. I guess I should. What is the role of a community, like the citizen, individual, in bringing changes to our tribal areas regarding sports? So what is the role for each one of us? It could be the parents, the students, and or CSOs. So what could be their roles in bringing changes in this thing?
Okay, the main role for the CSO, no? Main role for the CSO should form first governing body of the sports, and they should start constructing about the infrastructure. In Okrul or in Senapati, we don't see even a single infrastructure. That is the reason why youth are behind the, I think you know, behind the house, because in front, because there is no facilities from where they will play. They want to play, but there is no infrastructure. So CSO should form a governing body in order to build up this infrastructure so that if they build, automatically the youth will come and play.
Yes.
Where they will go. So firstly, the CSO should form a governing body to make a infrastructure. Their infrastructure, I'm not saying they are totally not, but they are infrastructure, but that is not alive.
Yes.
There are some few infrastructure, but they don't maintain anything. So who will come and play out there? So to make a governing, that's what I'm saying, to make a governing body to look after the infrastructure.
Okay. So the infrastructure is one of the important factor, and also I think one of the most important factor for all of us to bring the changes in this our community, in our areas. Yes, I guess we have seen those things in our community as well. When in schools also, the students, if they have a facility, they excel in it, and they are better in it comparatively. So when we look at the Catholic schools and the other private schools, it's different. Catholic schools, they provide the facilities like basketball and those things. So when we play, I think they are better in it also. So I guess infrastructure is one of the most important things to bring a changes in this thing. Okay, sir, for the last question, what do we as a community lack in recognizing the importance and the prospects of sports? And what, in your opinion, given your experience, is the right way forward? What do we as a community lack in recognizing the importance and the prospect of sports? And what is your opinion, given your experience, in the right way forward?
This question I can ask to you also, because now you people doesn't give respect to a sports person. That's the first point. You people doesn't recognize a sports person. You people doesn't praise a sports person. So from where we can become from where the sports person will be recognized? Firstly, from yourself, it should come up that to respect a sports person. Now, we respect other professionals, but we doesn't go up to the sports person in our own area. We took sports, as I've said it before, respect sports person as an option again. So when we talk about sports, we are talking in front of everybody, this and that, but in our heart, in our inner heart, we just keep as an option. And in respecting other people also, we doesn't respect sports person also in our own area. So in order to recognize sports person, then I think sports will build up in our own community. We
Thank
should
you
start
so much.
respecting our own sports person.
Yes, we should start with ourselves, respecting our sports person, be it local or be it who have taken a step in sports. So it should be our least part we can do is that we do respect the sports person and those who are interested in sports as well, and to support them. Thank you so much, sir. I guess that answers everyone's question. Due to time constraint, and we have lots of programs after these things, they're like the different organizations. So I guess this is the end of this thing, our webinar. And thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much, Nimreso, Jennifer, and Tomio, for being here with us. We are fortunate and we are honored that you are with us today, and given your insights, your experiences, and interest to this particular field. We are very proud of you, and we wish you all the best. Thank you so much, everyone.
Okay, thank you, everybody. Bye.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Okay. Ning shinai ri dong klim thala kin da participate tami khai chu wang issue program adam la dai ka arab ka knawali itumna sports we maram kala ning jang hada itumna thei khai da ri chang la thei khan ji la thei sam ngai re na tum psychology thala kin na nam khmi wang kala participate sak mi wang ning shinai re ari itumna program khangchang ko adam rao ki da chi ko sang cha orang la ka issue vote of thanks si achon ungya pem marchang ana ko khui mi no ari hi ana vice chairperson sa da klene noita NCR we achon ungya pem na adam khui mi
okay atam la malai thure salala thada hi avoid masapaim da thada khui house yang thada remai thui da first and foremost yang I want to give thanks to our heavenly father for the successful completion of this webinar. A special thanks to our guest speaker, Dr. L. Punding, and the sport person, Jennifer Luikam, Nimreso Kodang, and Temyo L. Shimre. In spite of your busy schedule, we are honored and so grateful that you give time to come here and share your experiences and also your support to Tangkhul Shanao Ngarumsaklong Delhi. So may God bless all of you. Jena achu ishiwi hosakami wole chandila ning shinaire ana mathalak ena hosamida itungwi webinar hearing palak ena kwika haire jena chililang maida backgroundly hi webinar hi sakwai da ngachon da klei katong alila ning shinaire gichi pongshok tele jena achu ishiwi webinar li siyasami khai Mrs. Themichon Ramsan kala arui samigi kichi Miss Awarsem Yajing nanilila ning shi naire kichi pongshok teleye jena matai mai tuida achu webinar hiri razang haida klei Tangkhul Shanao Ngarumsaklong long Delhi we members ping natum katong ali ning shi naire kichi pongshok teleye natum na hita da marazang saka issue webinar hi success masalak mare natum na razang kami wivang natum we support wivang hi success ka sanai gichi pongshok ngaye jaina rara da kle atamlila natum we love and support hi leimi chinglo gichila natum li request sangaye hina iwi vote of thanks ikup sangauge ning shinaire
Ningshi share achun yapem thalakina kutong liba pai laga ningshi mikhai chi wibang ara itumna mangchang cha orang laga ari itumna tamkhui khai hi ari mom sang sa kai se itumna tamkhui khai kala thekhui khai psychology itumna mili la share sa se itumui shoga da klei national bing ri no ava ngari no thalakina hang thei laga itumui alungli ari mom sala kha thei kham theya program webinar akang sa se gi hi Kanao sa hang kangai ne itu program ngajang vai kala sakwa rally ning shimi vai ari our sem yazing home missionary to city and the siya ka sam hirno
kon chat le ya
chale
siya sa seo resang chon me ga sakwa ribra takla kai nang che da clay re ka sang a to thili India we konung Delhi hili clay Tangkhul Shanao Ngarumsaklong we Katana Bingli Sichin Naga Takar Salak Hai Kangrewe award his sports as livelihood kachi team hili Rin Lagana na Dr. L Punding Atom Shimre Jennifer Luikam Gala Nimreso Kodang Atumni Sichin Milga Kasat Milga Kukal Mit Hili Madwing Room Kahai Paptang Room Kahai Kayang room kai psycho here sang haksang da atek chung gamateng sak milo webinar hili abong da day the sharukui mi kai psycho really no we saw kamilung li jiho milo da ningashi kamenang so da Christa we ming sing the siag sane amen
Nishi share ya chon our sem thala ke na sok mi ko mi ke juwang. I guess this is it. Arki the ko kai thai ni shinai re the tum sai ko really ra tum sai juwang. It's in the kanya ra the clay webinars seminars sai ko really the tum na chi dom ni khai ta mai na dom ni ri shi lo ji ha kai ni shi share sai ko really